You know what, girls? I'm not trying to start drama, but let's talk about that debate. Yes, the one where the critical drinker went toe-to-toe with a diehard Disney fan. This fan was out here, cape on, defending Disney like it's their full-time job, swearing up and down that the company's values are untouchable and pure. Cute, right? But let's get real for a second, because now that the year is wrapping up, it's clear that this debate didn't just age badly. It completely unraveled Disney's PR game. The hypocrisy? It's giving cotton 4K babes. Everything the critical drinker said in that debate, it's looking less like opinion and more like cold hard facts. Disney's so-called values, a total facade, especially when you stack their recent flops next to the shiny promises they've been selling us for years. The fan might have been swinging hard for the House of Mouse, but at this point, even they've got to be rethinking their stance.
Yeah, like delving too much into identity politics, which by their nature are divisive. Of course they are. And so all of those different factors working together have slowly undermined their creative output to the point where all of their major franchises are failing.
You know what, girls? I'm not trying to be shady, but let's talk about Disney for a second, because the math just isn't mathing. They're out here claiming they want to focus on something new moving forward, but let me show you a major contradiction that'll have you side-eyeing them harder than ever. Disney has been constantly pushing this so-called genre as their big selling point, only to turn around and use it as a weak excuse to clap back at their critics.
However, what's missing in this conversation is that the reason why a lot of these films are not doing as well is because many of them are spin-offs, sequels, or there's just overall fatigue in the market where people want original stories. So I do think that rather than try to make this a culture war, which really it isn't, it's more of a change in taste from the audiences and what they want. Let's keep it 100. Pixar has not really made too many original films that have really been able to be fully marketed. And there's been an oversaturation.
Okay, so here's the tea, girls. Just a minute ago, Disney was out here talking all this smack about superhero fatigue, claiming that the genre was on life support. And then, hold up, Deadpool 3 drops, and guess what? They rake in a cool $1 billion. Oh, and did I mention? It's a sequel, and yup, it's another superhero movie. So much for that fatigue talk, huh? But wait, it gets juicier. Then the Penguin series goes absolutely viral. Okay, it's not a Disney project, but it's a Batman spin-off. And that's still in the superhero family. And guess what? It proves the genre is alive and kicking. It's all about the storytelling, people. Now, fast forward to today, and Disney's doing a total 180. They're out here agreeing with the critical drinker of all people, saying that we need to stop pushing agendas and just focus on telling good stories. Hold on a second. This is the same company that demonized him for years. And now they're like, what? You know what? He was right all along. The biggest hypocrisy in this entire Disney situation is how the critical drinker, yes, that one, has been saying the exact same thing for years. I mean, not to be a hater, but have you seen how quickly they switched sides? It's almost like a plot twist that you didn't see coming. One minute, they're out here criticizing the system, and the next, they're singing a completely different tune. Like, if you don't know, girls, this is the definition of flipping the script for clout. The irony is just delicious. And honestly, I can't decide if I'm more shocked or entertained.
Issue whatsoever with a character like Miles Morales, who was created with his own unique personality and backstory, instead of just being a lazy race swap of an existing character, hammering home the simple but often misunderstood point that well-written characters who happen to be diverse are a perfectly good thing that no reasonable person can object to, whereas diverse characters created for the sole purpose of being diverse are not.
Oh. So now Disney Marvel is jumping on the bandwagon after a string of major box office fails? I mean, I'm not a hater or anything, but it's almost like they're trying to act like they've got it all figured out. There's nothing I appreciate more than seeing these big studios scramble when things aren't going their way. And honestly, after so many disappointing releases, it's a little too late for them to act like they've suddenly got all the answers.
I do know people who work at Marvel. They have cleaned house. They quietly, months ago, fired all the producers that could be labeled activist.
Really?
Yes, Kevin Feige recognizes. He even, I'm not going to say exactly. Basically, he said that we tried it. It didn't work. He's talking about phase 4.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. We tried it.
Okay, girls, let's talk about the latest Disney drama. Because, honey, it is absolutely wild. So, Disney and Hollywood, it's like they only want to jump on the politically correct train when it's convenient for them. Like, Disney's all about calling out toxic fans. But when they make a statement, suddenly it's the gospel truth? I mean, come on. There's nothing I appreciate more than true diversity. But it feels like Hollywood's idea of it is all about ticking boxes, not actually representing people. It's a mess. And here's where it gets juicy, y'all. Have you noticed how fans who just want diversity where people aren't boxed in by race or gender have been straight up vilified online? They just want people to play good characters in good movies based on talent, not whatever box Hollywood wants to check. Take Deadpool and Wolverine, for example. These movies had such a diverse cast, including a non-binary actor as the villain. But did you hear about it constantly in the marketing? Why? Because they let the story speak for itself. And guess what? It was a huge success. Like, biggest Disney hit this year. The movie was all about uniting people, breaking down barriers, and guess who didn't even need to push any political agenda to make it happen? Disney. If you don't know, girls, the truth is, pushing political marketing actually divides people. Deadpool didn't need that. They did it right. But let's talk about the biggest contradiction, shall we? Disney goes off about attacking anything deemed bigoted, and yet their actors are out here spitting out controversial statements. I don't think I could ever. Seriously, what's going on behind the scenes? It's like Disney is all about unity, unless it doesn't fit their narrative. Now that's a hot mess.
However, it seems that some of the fan base from this influential fan base have decided to attack Moses Ingram online and send her the most horrendous racist DMs. And I heard some of them this morning and it just broke my heart. You're no Star Wars fan in my mind.
Oh, and you know what, girls? The critical drinker is out here calling out Disney in the biggest way possible. Like, seriously, I could never have imagined this level of shade. He's absolutely dragging them for excluding dwarf actors from their live-action Snow White.
It'd be so much easier if they just used actual dwarf actors. I don't know why they haven't done that.
It was actual dwarf actors who rely on movies like this, which literally are about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They rely on that for really significant income.
Okay, so here's the thing. Where's all the noise, girls? Like, where's the outrage from Disney actors and fans? They're all crickets right now, and honestly, it's a little shocking. I mean, Disney's out here preaching about diversity and inclusion, right? But when it comes to their live-action Snow White, they go and completely overlook dwarf actors. People who, by the way, rarely get roles in Hollywood. How is this not a glaring issue? Why isn't anyone calling them out for excluding them from this? Like, seriously, if you're gonna be all about inclusion, you can't pick and choose who gets to be part of the conversation. But wait, it gets juicier, girls. A leaked video dropped, and you won't believe it. Apparently, a Disney vice president admitted they refused to hire people of color who didn't match a specific shade of color they had in mind.
Hired somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's wrong." They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to them.
Okay, girls, let's talk about this mess because it's honestly getting out of hand. Like, seriously, how are we still talking about this? It's like the industry, and Disney in particular, needs to wake up and realize that diversity should not just be some trendy marketing gimmick. It needs to be real, authentic, and just happen. Can we get back to focusing on telling good stories and casting the best people for the role? I mean, I'm not a hater like some of y'all, but let's be real. Nobody's mad about diversity itself. People are mad because it feels like a weird box-ticking exercise designed to boost a brand's image, not to actually serve the story. And honestly, the box office numbers this year are showing that the audience is noticing. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. What do you think about this whole situation? And don't even get me started on Disney's shift lately. Drop your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you're vibing with this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.